This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the 29th of November 2019. I am Samuel Suknander. Here's what we're tracking. The People's Progressive Party today offered a glimpse into some of its plans and programs that it intends to implement if it wins the next elections. The party hosted a soft launch of excerpts from its manifesto, promising a more detailed document at a formal launch in January. PPPC presidential candidate Irfan Ali, in outlining the party's plan for prosperity, said it has brought together the thoughts and vision of many Guyanese. Ali said the PPP manifesto for the first time includes thousands of contributions from members of the public. He said it was the most consultative process, and while it is not yet complete, the party decided that it needed to offer an appetizer to the people of Guyana. Ali said the manifesto is people-centered and many of the initiatives contained in it are expected to benefit the ordinary man directly, adding that he hopes the early launch will contribute to a dialogue of political ideas.
This plan is based on the principle of looking out for every single Guyanese. We must all be each other keeper. The pain and concern of every Guyanese must be the pain and concern of all of us. And this plan establishes that principle of being each other brother and sister, being each other keeper. And that is important as we move towards a unified Guyana in which all of us would have and feel a part of the future of this beautiful country.
He said the plans that are contained in the PPP's manifesto are all implementable and are not guesswork. The manifesto focuses heavily on the creation of jobs and plans for Guyana's oil wealth. Presidential candidate Ali once again pushed the plan for the creation of 50,000 new jobs during the first 5 years of a new PPP government. He said with an enabling environment and incentives for expansion, he is confident that there will be more investment and more jobs.
When we speak about economy and jobs, we're not only talking about the creation of jobs, but we're speaking about the creation of higher paid jobs, higher up the value scale. For this, it requires investors' confidence. It requires us pushing boundaries and pushing the envelope. It requires us training our human capacity and changing the system, the educational output to meet the economic requirement of our country as we move forward. For this to happen, we must have a strong analysis of the gap as to where we want to be as against what we have to take us there. And we must be able to fill that gap.
On the issue of crime and security, the PPP's plan is to expand the use of modern technology in crime fighting while providing more equipment along with facilities and additional training for the security forces. A PPP government, according to the plan for prosperity, would also provide better salaries for members of the security forces, according to Ali. The presidential candidate pleaded for his party to be heard and to be given another shot at governing Guyana. He promised that a government under his watch would be more inclusive and would work for all Guyanese, those who support him and those who do not.
To our supporters, you have an important job: to take the message. Your conscience must be clear in knowing that you did your part. And we ask of you today to do your part by taking the message, sharing the message, opening up hearts and minds to the message and the plans for prosperity for all Guyana under People's Progressive Party civic government. And to those who don't support us, or who would have not made up their minds as yet, I say to you, we are committed to you. We are committed to whatever questions you have. We are committed to whatever concerns you may have. But we ask you to give us an opportunity to address those concerns and clarify those issues that you need to be clarified as you make your decision on March the 2nd.
Ali served as Minister of Housing and Water under the last PPPC government. He has also held a portfolio of tourism and business. More news ahead.
It's bigger, it's better, it's back. It's GTT's plus size Christmas promotion. Connect with your friends and loved ones with GTT services to benefit from our biggest ever Christmas bundle of specials and be one of our plus size winners. Visit our website or call 227-9444 for more information today.
Big bundles for you. Big bundles for you. Top up a plan, we make a winner out of you. We got a game show for you. Game show for you.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Enter the GBTI Quick Cash Christmas promotion and make it a Christmas to remember. You get up to $500,000 easy for anything you want this Christmas. Plus, enter for a chance to win fabulous items for your home. One complete 7-foot granite top base kitchen cabinet, one sectional suite, one 5-piece dinette set, and complimentary baskets of goodies. Apply at your nearest branch or online at www.gbtibank.com. GBTI, we see Christmas through your eyes.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guyana Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyana's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Welcome back. Hours before the People's Progressive Party officially introduced its 2020 elections manifesto today, People's National Congress Reform Executive Joseph Harmon said he is not impressed. Addressing the PNCR Reform's weekly press briefing at Congress Place this midday, Mr. Harmon, who also serves as the Director General of the Ministry of the Presidency, labeled the PPPC's plan as nothing more than a plan for poverty for the Guyanese people.
Looking at it, I can see a set of ideas and programs which have already been put in place by this administration being attempted to be warmed over and sold to the Guyanese public as something that is original to the PPP.
The PNCR executive zeroed in on the opposition party's plan for the sugar and mining sectors. Harmon said the PPPC's manifesto promises to reopen all sugar estates, presumably those closed by his administration, but he feels that it is something impossible to do and that the party is just peddling another false promise.
This blunt statement that we will reopen sugar estates, I think when you examine it, when you go into the details, you will see how fake this promise is. And it is not something which any right-thinking Guyanese can actually take on face value, that Air Fanali, if ever by some, the word I used the other day was fluke, he were to become a president, that he can in fact deliver on this promise about reopening sugar estates.
Shifting his attention to the PPPC's promise to develop and expand the mining sector by fixing and upgrading roads in these communities, Harmon noted that the current government has expended some $4 billion alone in hinterland roads just for 2019. He noted too that the opposition is promising to put mechanisms in place for the oil sector by creating solid legislation to protect Guyana's oil wealth, when in fact Guyana already has legislation for a sovereign wealth fund.
So to repeat it as if this is something new is really warming up food that's been there already. We don't cook this food. We got it on the table. You come in to eat, you say, I want this thing, I put it in the microwave. And you warm it up, putting it out to the nation as if this is your thing. You know, it is wrong.
Asked how soon the APNU plus AFC coalition would launch its own manifesto, Harman said at the appropriate time the coalition's plan for its continued progress will be released. According to him, the manifesto being put together by the coalition would cater for far beyond the next 5 years and will be a comprehensive piece of policy document to guide the country into the next decade. And still in the world of politics, as the year winds down and the time gets closer to one of the most crucial general elections in Guyana's history, the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce (GCCI) said it wants to see that all political parties sign and adhere to a code of ethics during the controversial period. Speaking at the Chamber's annual award ceremony held at the Marriott Hotel on Thursday night, President of the GCCI Nicholas Boyer made an appeal to all political parties to get themselves in line with proper code of conduct for the next elections, which will have a significant bearing on the country.
And I'm also encouraging code of ethics for parties contesting the elections in March. We feel that it's necessary given the contentious nature of our elections and the history of appealing to ethno-security fears that have gone on in past elections.
Mr. Boyer said the GCCI feels that elections in the future of Guyana should be about principles and visions for developing the country.
We see elections as a chance to have national conversations about who will have the best leadership and policies. And similarly, we would like to see more diversity and technocrats at the operational level of government, leaning towards more professional management of our government institutions and agencies.
The businessman said too that the GCCI would like to see less of the retribution for supporters of the losing side. The party that wins or winners takes all election governs all Guyanese, not just its supporters. The code of ethics or conduct is usually the first step in regularizing and improving the political and ethical behavior of politicians from all parties during campaigning. GCOM has in the past developed a code of conduct for political parties with the primary objective of encouraging an atmosphere of open, free and fair political competition. But political parties too can develop their own code of conduct to guide the behavior of party executive and members during the election season, ensuring that they keep in line with the rules. Over the years, political leaders would usually sign on to GCOM's code even after they had committed several mudslinging campaigns in the lead-up to the regional and general elections. And now for some positive news. The Guyana oil company Guyana today announced a reduction in prices for its Super 95 gasoline, diesel and kerosene. The reductions took effect today. The company said the reductions were possible due to the lowered acquisition cost the company received from its suppliers. As a result, Guyana said the retail price for Super 95 gasoline is now $208 per litre, while the retail price for diesel is $225 per litre, down from $232 and $149 per litre for kerosene. Additionally, the wholesale price for Super 95 gasoline is $198 per litre, down from $204 per litre, while the wholesale ULSD diesel price is now $215 and kerosene is $139 per litre. The new prices are applicable to all Guyana service stations nationwide. Guyana said the reduction demonstrates the commitment to their customers, and it is their hope that this reduction will bring some amount of ease to them. Meanwhile, in light of the recent high tides that have led to flooding in many communities and regions across Guyana, the government says it has been constantly looking at ways in which it could help to address this issue. Director General in the Ministry of the Presidency, Joseph Harman, said it was recently revealed through Public Infrastructure Minister David Patterson that billions of dollars would be required to remedy the situation that has affected countless of residential and farmlands. Harman said Minister Patterson recently did a presentation to Cabinet in which he put forward a response mechanism to the flooding situation and the cost to actually build the country's sea defense. The Director General noted that Guyana has some 473 kilometers of sea defense structures, and in many cases, many parts of it is protected by mangroves and in some cases earthen dams.
He has indicated that in the next 2 or 3 years, it will require over $14 billion to do the emergency works that are needed, and that his ministry receives on an annual basis in the budget $2 billion.
He said this, therefore, points to a huge gap between what is required and what is budgeted for this kind of work.
Certainly it is quite an expensive undertaking to maintain the seawalls at the current level and with the current amount of money we have budgeted for that purpose.
Recent overtopping caused by high tides has led to major floods across the country. Floodwaters not only affected citizens' homes but destroyed acres of agricultural produce. Close to 80% of the current population lives in the low-lying coastal region. But Guyana is particularly vulnerable to sea level rise stemming from climate change. About 25% of the coast is now protected by seawalls, 60% by mangroves and 15% by natural sandbanks. However, sea level along the coastline here is rising faster than the global average. By 2100, scientists project a global sea level rise of 2.6 feet and as much as 6.6 feet, depending largely on how much the world continues to overload the atmosphere with carbon. In the courts right now, 33-year-old former Royal Castle employee Candace Stewart was today charged for stealing $19 million from the fast food company. She was placed on $300,000 bail. Stewart appeared before Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan in the Georgetown Magistrates Court and pleaded not guilty to the 3 charges that were placed before her. It is alleged that between January and February of this year, a diamond on the east bank of Demerara, while being a clerk at Royal Castle Guyana Inc., the woman stole $4.6 million, which was the property of Royal Castle. It was further alleged that between January and September last year at Sheriff Street, Georgetown, while being a clerk at Royal Castle, she stole $8.7 million from the company. The third charge said that between October and December last year, Stewart allegedly carted off an additional $5.9 million from the company. In an application for bail, the woman's attorney Dexter Todd told the court that his client worked at Royal Castle for over 7 years without any issue. He said he wants to see how the police will support its case. The prosecutor did not object to bail being granted but asked that it be set at a substantial amount. The magistrate set bail at $300,000 and ordered the woman to lodge her passport at the company. And still in the court, 33-year-old Gary Beckles of Allboystown, who was recently released from prison after serving a 5-year sentence, is heading back behind the bars to serve 3 additional years after pleading guilty to assaulting his ex-lover. Beckles appeared before Senior Magistrate Leroy Valley today, and it was revealed that on the 25th of October at 25 Sussex Street, Charlestown, he made use of threatening language towards Brittany Dover. The following day at Hill Street, Allboystown, it was revealed that the man unlawfully and maliciously wounded Brittany Dover. According to the prosecutor, the man and the woman were involved in a relationship and were engaged to be married. However, the woman walked away from the relationship when the man became abusive. He even threatened the woman that he was not afraid of prison since he had spent 5 years there. The threats and the abuse continued and the woman filed a police complaint, forcing the arrest of Beckles. Beckles opted not to waste the court's time today and pleaded guilty to both charges and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Across the Region is up next.
Flavor, food, fun. Guyana, it's back. UNCAP 2019 continues. Join us at the Guyana National Stadium at Providence for the Agro-Processors Exhibition and Food Festival. Enjoy local products that have been made, mixed and blended to perfection. It's all happening on Sunday, December 8th from 10 a.m. Enter the Savor the Flavor competition for a chance to win exciting hampers with fantastic local foods, personal care items, and so much more. Don't you miss it.
There once was a man named Stan whose business needed a new plan. Christmas was coming, this much was true. He needed some help but didn't know what to do. Then fast as a flash, 3 helpers did come from Republic Bank. They came with some. One had low interest rates, one reduced equity, one with approval so quick and easy. Now Stan is the man and his business is booming. Christmas is good and he is winning. Reach more customers and boost your business with a Republic Small Business Loan today.
At the most critical life-changing moments, the National Insurance Scheme is here to ensure that your needs are covered. Access reimbursement for medical expenses for various aspects of your medical care. We know that eye care is of utmost importance. Receive assistance with our Spectacle Care voucher. Visiting the dentist? Dental care is also covered under our sickness benefit services. Offset the funeral expenses of a loved one with costs covered by our funeral benefits. National Insurance Scheme. We're there every step of the way.
They've made a positive impact on the heavy-duty transportation industry in Guyana since they've arrived. Guyanese are amazed at their power, durability, efficiency, and superior handling capabilities. These are brand new trucks, manufactured in partnership with German, Italian, and French companies. They have a powerful reputation for operating under very adverse Guyanese conditions and come with full after-sales service and spare parts. They're the most sought-after trucks today, with over 500 units in Guyana, and they're available in over 100 countries, including South America and the Caribbean. Be smart. Buy brand new ST Howo trucks today. Call 608-4998 and arrange for an inspection at ST Truck Guyana Incorporated, Block B, Public Road, Covenant, East Bank, Demerara.
Taking you across the region right now, I'm Samuel Suknandon. A court in Suriname today convicted Suriname's President Desi Bouterse of murder for the execution of 15 opponents in 1982, during an earlier term as military ruler of the country. He and other soldiers had led a violent coup to seize power. The court sentenced Bouterse, who is currently in China on an official visit, to 20 years in prison. Bouterse has dominated much of the history of Suriname since it gained independence from the Netherlands in 1975. The military court on Friday ruled that Bouterse had overseen an operation in which soldiers under his command abducted 16 leading government critics, including lawyers, journalists, and university teachers, from their homes and killed 15 of them at a colonial fortress in Paramaribo. Let's now take a look at what's happening in Uruguay. The presidential candidate of the center-left coalition that has governed Uruguay for 15 years conceded defeat on Thursday, 4 days after a close and contentious runoff election. The concession ushers in Luis Lacalle Pou of the center-right National Party as the country's new leader. It also spells an end to the tenure of the Broad Front, a coalition of leftist and center-left parties that oversaw the legalization of abortion, same-sex marriage, and the sale of marijuana. Pou's rival, Daniel Martinez of the Broad Front, has already conceded defeat. And finally, international news. Iraqi Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi is to submit his resignation, his office says, after more than 40 people were killed on the bloodiest day since anti-government protests began. Mr. Abdul Mahdi's decision comes after Iraq's top Shia Muslim cleric condemned the use of force against protesters and called for a new government. Nearly 400 people have been killed in protests since the start of October. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. Have a good night.